So this is kind of, I guess, part five of my voice AI diary series, and what I've been kind of mostly, it's been, I think maybe it's been a while. It's been a week since I last posted the a diary post. I need to start posting this more consistently, but uh, um, consistency is one thing I struggle with. But I think what I've been mostly working on the past week isn't as much as the client work. Is I've been doing a lot of focused on a side project I've been doing. The side project has been, I guess, I want to make a video on voice AI prompting or voice AI prompting design, and I've been focusing on playing around a bunch of these different tactics to build like a very high level voice AI demo. One of the main one big task I've been kind of focused on, this is the one I've been kind of focusing on a lot this week, is implementing what I call, I guess, human perfections inside the voice AI. So actually, I saw this one LinkedIn post a while back. Actually, let me go to it. And what he was kind of talking about is how a lot of voice AI, they're too perfect. How they speak and how they talk, it's too perfect. They don't have the human imperfections or the human, I guess, tendencies that humans have while they talk. Like sometimes you talk really fast, sometimes you just slow down, sometimes you pause a bit to think, sometimes you say or ah, sometimes you stutter like sometimes you mispronounce something, sometimes you struggle to say something. So it doesn't have the human like imperfections that I guess the AI doesn't have human like perfections that human kind of have. So that's what I've been kind of playing around with a lot. Is trying to implement these human like imperfections inside this voice AI. And what I'm using for this is 11 Labs, because 11 Labs, one really cool thing 11 Labs has, it has this break time component. So let me go to actually Chris, 'cause that's the one I've been actually using. Or do I have it? Oh, I have one open actually. No, I don't. I'm go to Chris. I'm not sure why it's at Rachel. That's my favorite. But if you go to history, I have. Let me see. Let me try this one.
I meant, do you know Sarah? Rickard, Sarah Richardson?
So I have a lot of these things where I'm using this thing called break time. What break time lets you to do is it allows you
I
to
meant, do you
kind
know?
of implement pauses. Let me see. So it allows you to kind of implement pauses inside your as the AI talks. So sometimes I can have the AI pause for, like, let's say 4 seconds or 3 seconds or 0.5 seconds. So that kind of implements like pauses. So you have that kind of just like how humans, they don't just like talk, they don't talk, say just pause a little. They don't just talk like they don't talk with nonstop. Sometimes they talk and they'll pause a little bit, maybe pause to say something, maybe pause to think, maybe just pause because if you get tired if you talk nonstop. There's times where you want to slow down to kind of take a breath. They pause in between when they speak. So 11 Labs has this thing called break time where you could kind of implement these pauses and you control how long you
I
want
meant,
these
do you know
pauses.
Sarah? Rickard, Sarah dot Richardson.
So you can see that it implemented actually I implemented a 4 second pause when I changed it to number four. And if I change it to like something like 0.3,
I meant, do you know Sarah? Rickard, Sarah dot Richardson.
I don't know what it's saying dot. I think I put dot somewhere. But so I've been playing around with this a lot. So there's like let's see.
We actually talked a good bit about crypto and how the financials landscape will kind of change because of that. Are
So
you a crypto guy?
so here I'm trying to simulate the AI kind of mispronounce, like struggling to pronounce certain words. So you see, I didn't spell it
We actually talked a
nicely.
good bit about crypto and how the financials and scape will kind of change because of that.
I spelled that wrong. Let's see what else do I have here. I have stuff like
Ah, I thought so. Yeah, man. Seriously, a couple of speakers from the event where friends of mine and were raving about your session. Said the way you broke down the HIPAA the compliance the HIPAA compliance was incredibly brilliant. Are you planning talk and any other future event maybe?
So this is the same thing, struggling to pronounce something, and I do stuff like dot dot dot. So what dot 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 kind of does is, if you go to 11 Labs, actually, hesitant tone. So you can use it to kind of implement stuttering, but you can also use it. Sometimes I use it to put emphasis on certain words. So if you heard it say incredible, it kind of puts emphasis incredible when you put it twice. So
Ah, I thought so. Yeah, man, seriously. A couple of speakers from the event were friends of mine and were raving about your session. Said the way you broke down the HIPAA pl- the compliance the HIPAA compliance was incredibly brilliant. Are you planning talk and any other future event maybe?
So you can see how it puts the emphasis in the second credibility. So if I want to put emphasis on a certain word, like want the person to say it twice to kind of put emphasis on what he's trying to say. Sometimes I kind of do that. Let's see what other examples are in here. So I have this. Let me see. So
Interesting. Interesting, not as what's the word? I'm not as I ain't as proficient or educated when it comes to crypto, but I do invest a little bit in it. I have investments in, I guess, what people would call the normie, like the mainstream coin. Everybody knows about and invests in. Then I
oops.
have a few investments in coins like Tron and Litecoin. Do you think I should get deep into crypto? You and Roth sound pretty confident in it.
So you can see how the little dots it puts it kind of puts a little it kind of it puts it gets a gives a little stuttering effect when it talks sometimes. And then you can see how I have, like, sometimes I kind of act like the AI is kind of thinking what to say. So here I say in the beginning, I say,
Interesting. Interesting, not as what's the word? I'm not as I ain't as proficient or educated when it comes to
so I have like when I say what's the word, I kind of have a like I'm trying to imitate a person trying to think, a person trying to think of what to say, kind of like a person that is kind of fumbling over it, not fumbling, but kind of losing its train of thought. And so I kinda say, "What's the word?" And I say, "I'm not as," and I have him change up what he's gonna say. So it's kind of a little bit of fumbling of over what he's trying to say, and a little bit of trying to think of what he's gonna kind of say, kind of implement how humans, kind of, think as they talk and kind of change of what they're gonna say as they talk. And I have a let's see what but we'll see if there's any other examples here. Let's see. And I have this one. Let me restore this one and play this one.
Oh, okay, just making sure I've got the right Daniel. You're the one over at was it New Stripe? No, no, sorry, it's RevTech. Yeah, RevTech. Pretty sure someone mentioned you were the go-to guy when it come to ops.
So simply, it's just simulating somebody getting something wrong and then correcting themselves pretty much. So that's what I'm just overall trying to implement. I'm trying to implement in my conversations. I want AI to have a lot of these human like tendencies that humans usually will have during during when they talk, to kind of give it to make it more, I guess, in a sense, human realistic, I would say. Let me see which one is this. So let me see. I have the actual prompt here. So the way I'm trying to go about it is that I'm trying to so now what I need to do is I'm trying to prompt these things and kind of inside the actual conversation, inside the actual call, which it's easier said than done. For some reason, the AI does tends to not like to have to say or doesn't like to stutter. It doesn't like to do these certain things in the responses. So it's very hard to actually kind of prompt this thing to kind of use these kind of these pauses and these stutterings and these kind of human inconsistencies in its responses. One reason why is because my prompt is pretty big. The smaller the prompt, it's kinda easier to kind of prompt it to do these things. But, the specific reason why I have a big prompt right now. But what I've been playing around with is that, is using playing around with how the prompt acts with, different models. So if I use, like, Gemini 2.0 Flash, I talk to it.
Hello, is this Alozi on the phone? It's Chris. Chris Richards calling.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Just making sure I've got the right Alozi. You're the one over at was it New Stripe? No, 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 sorry. It's Stripe. Yeah, Stripe. Pretty sure someone mentioned you were the go-to guy when it come to project managing.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I do work at Stripe, yeah, I would say.
Oh, nice to meet you, Alozi. I have really heard great stuff about you. Actually, have you heard of Ransom Andrew? He's a senior DevOps engineer, or I mean, site reliability engineer. He helped rebuild some of the monitoring setup over at Stripe. Does Ransom ring a bell?
Yeah, no, actually, no, I don't think I've heard of him.
Really? You haven't heard of him? You know what? I gotta send you over his link LinkedIn. Brilliant dude, I tell you. You good with me? I'm sending his can I forward over his details to you after the call?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll send that over to you. Anyway, I actually should probably back up and say why I'm reaching out.
So, you might not ever, like, seen it, heard as much, but Gemini is really good at implementing, like it's better at implementing the stutterings, it's decent at implementing the stutterings and pauses that I wanna implement, but it hallucinates a good bit more, like, it hallucinates a good bit more than, some of the other models I use. If I use something like, for example, OpenAI and I use the 4.0, it's very this one's a lot better at following the instructions, but it has a hard time, implementing the kind of the stuttering and pauses that I kind of want it to implement. Like, if I talk to it now.
Hello, is this Alozi on the phone? It's Chris. Chris Richards calling.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, awesome. I was hoping it was the same Alozi from Stripe, right? I actually spoke at the AI Agents Conference last December, and I think I caught a bit of your session there. You were talking about integrating AI in project management, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah, I did talk a good bit in that conference.
Ah, that's awesome. I heard a lot of great things about your session. You must have had quite the crowd there. I was talking to a couple of folks from Stripe recently, and your name came up as someone who's really making waves. So, how's everything going over there? Are you working on any cool projects right now?
No, nothing much, to be honest.
Ah, gotcha. Sometimes it's good to have a bit of a breather, right? Actually, the reason I was reaching out, since you clearly have your finger on the pulse of where A.
So it's you see how the 4-1's not really hallucinating or anything, but it's not really implementing the stutters and pauses I want. So that's kind of the difficulties I kind of face with kind of implementing these things, implementing this like trying to implement this stuttering, all this the stuttering and all these like human perfections inside this kind of voice agent.